Hi guys, this is Ma'am Yan. Today, let's do a ratio of your perioperative nursing concepts. Guys, don't forget in your enhanced TOS, perioperative nursing is 10 items in the board exam this coming November 2025. So, let's try and answer some of the high-yield questions and concepts for perioperative nursing. Let's start with number 1. After surgery, Lumin asked the nurse why deep breathing and coughing are important. The nurse explains that if pulmonary secretions are not cleared, what condition may develop? Letter A, pneumonia. Letter B, hypoxemia. Letter C, fluid imbalance. Or letter D, pulmonary embolism. Do not overthink. The only correct answer is no other than pneumonia po. Klaro ba? Yes. Why? Pneumonia, guys, is that infection in the lungs. Yes. Why can you get an infection in the lungs? Guys, think. If ikaw nagkaroon ng secretions sa lungs mo kasi hindi mo ma-expectorate ng maayos, okay? Can the secretion cause a moist environment inside your lungs? Yes. A moist environment in the lungs, can that promote bacterial growth? Exactly. Can that cause an infection? Exactly. Kaya it can cause pneumonia. Yan yung specific answer to the specific question asking you if you have pulmonary secretions that's not cleared, you get pneumonia. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Kaya guys, ang sabi natin sa pasyente natin, ma'am, perform deep breathing because when you open up the airways, it's better for expectoration. Mas matatanggal mo ngayon mga excess secretions dyan sa loob ng baga mo. Kaya nga after deep breathing, you also cough forcefully to try and excrete mga pulmonary secretions, to try and clear it out from your airways para ma-prevent mo ang infection. Hypoxemia, guys, or low O2 in the body, that one can happen if you get an obstruction in the airways from your what? From the secretions that are not cleared. From a what? From a clot, like your pulmonary embolism. A clot in the circulation in the lungs. Kaya hindi yan tama, no? Mali yan ng Bravo and Delta. Fluid imbalance, you can get that if you have problems in the bleeding post-operatively can cause fluid imbalance. Klaro ba yon? Yes, but that's not from pulmonary secretions that is not cleared. The correct answer is pneumonia. Next, number 2. Dilok is scheduled for surgery next week. During preoperative teaching, he tells the nurse that he has arthritis and has been taking acetylsalicylic acid. Guys, is that your aspirin? Yes. The nurse knows more teaching is needed if Dilok makes switch statement. So when you say more teaching is needed if Dilok makes switch statement, you are looking for the wrong answer. Put a big X. Letter A, aspirin can cause bleeding after surgery. Letter B, aspirin can cause my ability to clot blood to be abnormal. Letter C, I need to continue to take the aspirin until the day of surgery. Or letter D, I need to check with my HCP or healthcare provider about the need to stop the aspirin before the scheduled surgery. And the wrong statement na sinabi ni Dilok dito is no other than your letter C. I need to continue to take my aspirin until the day of surgery. Guys, what do we know about acetylsalicylic acid or your aspirin? Guys, is that a blood thinner? Yes, blood thinner yan. Can it increase the risk of bleeding therefore? Yes. Kaya guys, if increases the risk of bleeding, ibig sabihin you need to hold it before the surgery. Tulad ng sinabi ng Delta, I need to check with my healthcare provider about the need to stop the aspirin before surgery. So doctors can order the aspirin be stopped 48 hours before surgery, depending on what kind of surgery. If the surgery is more complex and complicated, you may need to stop aspirin longer than 48 hours. So guys, kaya kailangan mong tawagan ang doktor mo kung naka-aspirin ka. Kasi hindi yan pwede isabay sa surgery mo. Kasi it can cause bleeding and it can cause your ability to clot to be abnormal, which is what Alpha Bravo is saying and Delta, making them correct statements and Charlie the only wrong statement. Next, number 3. The post-anesthesia care unit or your PACU. PACU yan guys ha, no intended harm. No intended verbal assault. Calls the nurse to report that Kazuha is being transferred to the surgical unit. When Kazuha arrives, what action should the nurse take first? Letter A, assess the patency of the airway. Letter B, check tubes or drains for patency. Letter C, check the dressing to assess for bleeding. Letter D, assess the vital signs to compare with preoperative measurements. And the only correct answer is to take first the airway, breathing, circulation, priority in nursing, and that one is no other than alpha. You assess the patency of airway. Airway first before you check for breathing or circulation like your Charlie. So, yan yung second na i-check mo. And then next, guys, you check for the vital signs for any problem, okay? And then you check for patency. So, in short, A, B, C, D, they are all correct choices, but the question is asking specifically for the first thing you do. So, you base your answer on your airway, breathing, circulation concept as the priority in nursing. So, you get an airway problem, alpha. Assess the patency of the airway. Klaro ba yun? Yes. Number 4. The nurse is reviewing the prescription sheet of Barbara, who is scheduled for surgery and instructed to be NPO after midnight. The nurse should clarify with the physician if which medication is written as withheld. Ibig sabihin, hindi binigay. Prednisone, ferrous sulfate, cyclobenzaprine. Letter D, conjugated estrogen or your Premarin. And the only correct answer is no other than your prednisone. The rest, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, you can hold them before surgery. If NPO ang pasyente mo, don't give them. But, prednisone, why do you have to give that? Listen to this. Don't forget this. Prednisone, yung mga drugs nag-e-end sa zone, yung mga drugs na nag-e-end in solone, they are all steroid drugs. And steroid drugs, they are predominantly a cortisol replacement. Predominantly a cortisol replacement. What do you know about cortisol hormone in the body? Guys, is that the stress hormone of the body? Yes, stress hormone yan. So, meaning, prednisone, if it is a predominantly a cortisol replacement, predominantly a stress hormone replacement, do you need to give that before surgery, even during and after? Yes, because surgery is that stressful to the body. Yes, for the cells of the body to be able to compensate from the stress that comes with the surgery or surgical manipulation of the tissues. Do you need the stress hormone cortisol? Yes, to compensate properly. So, do not hold prednisone doses. In whatever kind of patient, guys ha, pag naka-prednisone sila or naka-steroids, dexamethasone, prednisone, hydrocortisone, methylprednisolone, the drugs that ends in zone and solone, they are steroid drugs. They are predominantly a cortisol replacement, a stress hormone replacement. Do not hold them. You give them because they are important for the body of the patient to compensate on the surgery because surgery is stressful. You need the stress hormone. Klaro ba yun? Yes. The rest, you can safely hold them. Walang effect yan sa katawan ng pasyente mo. Klaro ba? Yes. Alpha is the only correct answer. Number 5. The nurse is planning care for Ayaka, who is scheduled for surgery today. Which action should be included in the plan of care? Letter A, avoid oral hygiene and rinsing with mouthwash. Letter B, verify that the client has not eaten for the last 24 hours. Letter C, have the client void immediately before going into surgery. Letter D, report immediately any slight increase in the BP or pulse. And the only correct answer is no other than letter C. Have the client void immediately before going to surgery. That's to decompress the bladder, guys. Para hindi full bladder papunta sa surgery ang pasyente mo. Para hindi siya makaihi doon. Klaro ba yun? Yes, kasi pag nag-induct na ng anesthesia, pag binigyan siya ng anesthesia, all the muscles in the body will relax. Pati yung muscle ng bladder mo. Kung full yan, pwedeng makaihi ang pasyente mo on the table, on the OR table. Klaro ba yun? Yes, so ayaw nating mangyari yun. And look at the rest of the choices. They are all wrong. And the question is asking you, ano yung ilalagay mo sa plan? Ano yung dapat mong gawin? So sabi ng Alpha, avoid oral hygiene. Bawal bang mag-toothbrush or mag-mouthwash pag mag-OOR ka? No, actually, we encourage that. No, self-bath, yung mag-wash ka ng katawan mo and mag-oral hygiene ka. That's to decrease the bacteria, mga resident bacteria dyan sa katawan mo. So it's important to practice hygiene. It's not something you need to avoid. Verify that the client has not eaten for 24 hours is too much. Pwede ngang as low as 4 hours if the surgery is not that major. So if it's a minor surgery, pwede ngang 4 hours NPO lang. 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours to 12 hours NPO. Yan yung mga meron tayo, no, for peri-op nursing. Depende na lang kung anong klaseng surgery ang gagawin. The more complex and major the surgery is, the longer the NPO time. Pero for sure, hindi yan naabot ng 24 hours. Grabe naman, guys. And then, letter D, report immediately. Any slight, sinabi yung word na slight, increase in BP or pulse. Guys, normal ba? Tumaas ng konti, ng slight ang BP niya or pulse kasi kinakabahan siya. Yes, pwede yun. Do you need to report that? No, that's a normal psychologic and physiologic effect, okay, of a surgery to a patient. Guys, normal lang yan, okay? So, they don't need to report that. Next, number 6. 1 hour after Xiao was admitted to the surgical unit, the nurse reassesses him. Which parameter should the nurse monitor most carefully during the next hour? Letter A, urine output 20 ml per hour, temperature 37.6 degrees, or blood pressure of 100/70, or serous drainage on the surgical dressing. And the only correct answer is no other than, guys, letter A, urine output of 20 ml per hour. Guys, bakit? Bakit yan? Look at that. 20 ml per hour. Is that normal? No, that is decreased urine output. Mababang urine output yan, guys. Because the normal urine output should be well within 30 to 60 ml per hour. So if it's 20 ml per hour, mababa yan, guys. Ibig sabihin, the kidneys are conserving water in the body. Why do you think the kidney is conserving water in the body? Maybe there's a fluid imbalance ongoing. That's why the kidneys are trying to compensate by reabsorbing a lot of water, kaya may low urine output ka ngayon. That's why you need to watch out on that because that's a circulatory problem, a fluid imbalance problem, potential problem. Klaro ba yun? Yes. A temperature of 37.6, no problem. Pag warm to touch ang pasyente mo, tepid sponge bath will try and decrease the temperature. No problem. Okay lang yan. But a urine problem, yan. It signifies the kidneys are trying to compensate. You need to prioritize that over a temperature problem. Klaro ba yun? Yes. Blood pressure of 100/70 is well within normal, and a serous drainage on the surgical dressing is expected and normal. Pag sinabi mong serous, guys, yan yung transparent discharge coming from the wounds. And that's the effect of your immunity. It's your immune system, immune cells trying to fix what is broken in the tissue. For example, yung mga surgical incision, sino yung magta-try mag-heal ng tissues dyan? Immune system mo, klaro? So they release serous drainage and that's normal and expected. Klaro ba yun? Yes. Number 7. The nurse is teaching Yoimiya about coughing and deep breathing to prevent post-operative complication. Which statement should the nurse make? Letter A, use of an incentive spirometer will help prevent pneumonia. Letter B, close monitoring of your oxygen saturation will detect hypoxemia. Letter C, administration of intravenous fluid will prevent or treat fluid imbalances. Or letter D, early ambulation and administration of blood thinners will prevent pulmonary embolism. The only correct answer is no other than alpha, guys. Okay, yan lang yung related sa sinabi. Sabi dyan about coughing and deep breathing exercise to prevent a post-operative complication. Anong pinag-usapan natin kanina sa number 1? The post-operative complication while you're doing coughing and deep breathing is to try and expectorate pulmonary secretions to prevent infection like your pneumonia. Klaro ba yun? Yes. So, alpha is the best answer. When you're using incentive spirometry, guys, that device, incentive spirometer, it will allow for better lung expansion. It will promote and help lung expansion. When you expand the lungs, you open up the airways, you better excrete pulmonary secretions to prevent retaining them, to prevent a moist environment, to prevent infection in the respiratory tract, which is the post-operative complication we're talking about here. Klaro ba yun? Yes, that's why alpha is the only related and relevant answer to the question. Tingnan mo ang Bravo. Close monitoring of your oxygen sats will detect hypoxemia. Ang pinag-uusapan is about coughing and deep breathing. When you cough, When you deep breathe, anong ginagawa mo dyan? Opening up the airways to release secretion to prevent pneumonia. Okay? Specific questions demand specific answer. The only correct answer is alpha. And yung Charlie is about fluids na and about treating fluid imbalance, not related. Klaro ba yun? Yes, ambulation, it's about pulmonary embolism rather than pneumonia. Klaro ba yun? Yes, alpha ang correct answer. Number 8. Eula receives morphine for post-operative pain. Which of the following should the nurse include in her care plan? Letter A, assess apical heart rate after each dose of morphine. Letter B, assess urinary output every 8 hours. Letter C, assess mental status every shift. Letter D, check for pedal edema every 4 hours. And the only correct answer is no other than your letter B. B, guys, ha? You assess for the urinary output every 8 hours. Guys, the standard 8 hours, we follow that. Why? Guys, morphine sulfate, is that an opioid analgesic? Yes. Is that a narcotic? Yes. One of the most potent drug to try and decrease pain. Kasi anong ginagawa ni morphine, guys? Will it directly attack the brain's perception of pain? Yes. Kaya nga, di ba, sabi natin, pain is subjective to the person. Pag mas mataas ang pain tolerance mo, mas kaya mo yung mga matitinding sakit. Pero pag mas mababa, mas hindi mo kaya. Para ba yun? Yes. Kaya guys, it's all in the head. So si morphine, pag binigay mo yan, it will inhibit the brain's perception of the pain, kaya ang pasyente mo feel good. Mawawala yung feeling ng pain, relax na relax. Klara ba yun? Yes. So aside from morphine inhibiting the function of the brain para hindi ka na maka-feel ng pain, it will also inhibit all the function of the body including the GI and your GUT. So guys, babagal ang GI mo, kaya ka nagkakaroon ng constipation in morphine sulfate. The same thing is true. Bababa ang genitourinary tract function mo, kaya pwede kang magkaroon ng urinary retention. So to try and assess for urinary retention, you check for the urinary output every 8 hours. Dapat yan ay well within normal limits of 30 to 60 ml per hour na urine output. Kara ba yun? Yes. Guys, letter A, apical heart rate, it's not checked for morphine sulfate but rather for your digoxin. So misplaced ang alpha, guys. Digoxin problem yan, hindi yan morphine. Letter C, assess the mental status is correct but you check it every shift is wrong. Sabi nga natin, morphine sulfate takes effect on the brain right away, di ba? Kasi it's the brain that perceives the pain. So, isip, kailan ka mag-check ng mental status? Every shift ba? Or every giving of the morphine sulfate dose? Every dose. Every time nagbibigay ka ng dose, i-check mo ang mental status. Baka mamaya, ang pasyente mo GCS3 na lang pala. Okay? Masyado ng lethargic, unarousable na. Klaro ba yun? Yes. So, to prevent opioid toxicity, you make sure to check the mental status every time you give the dose of morphine sulfate because you know it has an effect on the brain. Klaro ba yun? Yes. Pedal edema is not relevant. Klaro? This is a pain medication. So, walang relate ang pedal edema dito. Next, number 9. During preoperative teaching, Kiki tells the nurse that she cannot hear without her hearing aid and she wants to wear it into surgery and recovery. What is the nurse's best response? Letter A, explain to the client that it is policy to not take personal items to surgery because they may be lost or broken. Letter B, tell the client that she will bring the hearing aid to the post-anesthesia care unit so that she can have it as soon as she wakes up. Letter C, explain to the client that she will have a pre-medication that will make her sleepy before she goes to surgery and she won't need to hear. Or letter D, call the surgery unit to explain the client's concern and ask if she can wear her hearing aid to surgery. And the only correct answer is no other than Delta. Call the surgery to explain the client's concern and ask if she can wear her hearing aid to surgery. Bakit? Guys, listen. May hearing aid. Pag tinanggal mo yung hearing aid, walang marinig ang pasyente. Guys, isipin mo anong nangyayari pag pinasok na siya sa OR. Diba dapat pag pinasok sa OR ng pasyente, naka-patient's gown, cup na siya, nakaayos na, okay? As much as possible, clean na ang pasyente mo, wala nang kahit anong nakalagay sa kanya, wala nang pustiso, wala nang eyeglass, wala nang contact lens. Klaro? Yes, tatanggalin mo lahat. Now, imagine, a patient without hearing aid kasi tinanggal mo din ang hearing aid before going to surgery. The patient cannot hear anyone in the operating room. Can that invoke anxiety? Yes, mas magiging anxious siya. Number 2, guys, without the hearing aid, can the patient properly cooperate during surgery? Cannot, lalo na before induction of anesthesia. The patient cannot hear what's happening. The patient cannot cooperate with the surgical team. The patient cannot hear any instructions na binibigay sa kanya. Klaro ba yun? Yes, and important ba yun for proper communication and proper cooperation with the patient in the surgery? Yes. So, ang best na gagawin ng nurse, you call the surgery unit. Kasi there are policies that will allow the patient to wear the hearing aid during surgery. Klaro ba yun? Depende na yan per protocol ng hospitals. But most often than not, guys, in your books, we allow the use of a hearing aid because that one will better facilitate the surgery of the patient and will lessen their anxiety. Klaro ba yun? Yes. Guys, mali ang explaining that it is policy to not take personal items to surgery, especially if may important effect like a hearing aid in the surgery for the patient to be able to hear instructions given to her. So making alpha wrong, tell the patient that she will bring the hearing aid to the PACU. Guys, hindi lang siya sa PACU dapat makarinig. Dapat even before the induction of the anesthesia, the patient can hear what's going on to lessen the anxiety to allow the patient to cooperate in the surgery. Klaro ba yon? Yes. And then explain to the client that she will have a pre-medication is not related to what the patient's concern is. It's about the hearing aid and not about the pre-medication to make her sleepy. Klaro? Yes. So delta is the only correct answer. Number 10. Albedo is prescribed glycopyrrolate or urobinol as a pre-medication. What therapeutic effect does the nurse expect? Letter A, increase heart rate. Letter B, increase respiratory rate. Letter C, decrease secretions. Letter D, decrease amnesia. And the only correct answer is no other than letter C, decrease secretion. That's the effect of your glycopyrrolate or your urobinol. Guys, remember, glycopyrrolate, another one, atropine sulfate, another one, your scopolamine. All of these three, they are the most common drugs used preoperatively because they are what? Anticholinergics. Pag sinabi mong anticholinergics, guys, it's an anticholine. Guys, the choline that we're talking about here is the largest neurotransmitter for parasympathetic nervous system, and that's your acetylcholine. Okay? Ibig sabihin, guys, you are antagonizing acetylcholine when you are giving glycopyrrolate or your atropine sulfate or your scopolamine. So, imagine, when you antagonize acetylcholine, we said acetylcholine is the largest neurotransmitter for your parasympathetic nervous system or your rest and digest mechanism in the body. So listen, if you are antagonizing acetylcholine, are you antagonizing PNS or your parasympathetic nervous system and your rest and digest? Yes, precisely. That's why an anticholinergic like atropine sulfate, scopolamine, and your glycopyrrolate, they can all decrease secretions because they decrease parasympathetic nervous system. They decrease the rest and digest. Kailan ba nagkakaroon ng maraming secretions ang GI? Is it during rest and digest to properly digest all the foods you have eaten? Yes. So you give your glycopyrrolate or your atropine sulfate or your scopolamine who are anticholinergics. Can they decrease secretions in surgery before we induce anesthesia to avoid aspiration? Precisely. Perfect. Yan ang intended effect nila. Yan ang therapeutic effect nila as a pre-medication before surgery. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Increase heart rate, respiratory rate since it's an anticholinergic, anti-PNS. It can promote SNS. Yan ay mga side effect nila. They are not therapeutic effect but rather expected side effect. Kasi if you're blocking PNS, you're allowing for SNS. Kaya nga sabi natin, 'di ba, ang Side effect ng atropine sulfate, ng scopolamine, ng iyong glycopyrrolate is what? Tachycardia. Tachypnea. Klaro ba yun? Yes. So, that's side effect. Guys, walang kinalaman ng amnesia dito because this is an anticholinergic drug. Anti-PNS, anti-acetylcholine. Klaro ba yun? Yes. Next, number 11. During pre-admission testing for same-day surgery, Beidou tells the nurse she eats 2 cloves of garlic daily to help with blood pressure. The nurse should inquire further about which of the following. Letter A, the type of surgery the client is having. Letter B, what her blood pressure has been running. Letter C, the amount of garlic she is eating. Letter D, her preference for the type of anesthesia. The only correct answer is no other than letter C, the amount of garlic she's eating. Guys, is it true that garlic can lower your blood pressure by eating garlic? Yes, correct. Pwede yan. Pwede magbaba ang blood pressure mo dyan. But if the patient is for a same-day surgery or generally for surgery, guys, listen ha, mga garlic, if you're eating raw garlic, guys, that one can thin the blood. May blood thinning effect yan. May blood thinning effect. Kaya dapat alam mo gaano karami yung kinain niya. Okay? And then you tell that to the doctor. Klaro ba yun? Yes. You don't need to know what kind of surgery she's having because either way, that will increase the risk of bleeding because garlic has a blood thinning effect. Guys, hindi mo kailangan malaman ng blood pressure niya kasi you can assess that. You don't need to verbalize that to the patient. You can assess that on your own. Klaro ba yun? Yes. And then, her preference for the type of anesthesia is not based on what the patient wants, but rather what is best for the patient as seen fit by the anesthesiologist. Klaro ba yun? And the type of the surgery that she's gonna have. Klaro ba? Yes. Okay. Next, number 12. The surgeon schedules sinus surgery at 8 a.m. and prescribes cefazolin or Ancef 1 gram IV at 7:30 a.m. Why should the antibiotics be started exactly at that time? Letter A, legally the medication has to be given at the ordered time. Letter B, the antibiotic is most effective in preventing infection if it is given 30 to 60 minutes before the operative incision is made. Letter C, the post-operative dose of Ancef needs to be started exactly at 8 hours after the pre-operative dose of Ancef. Or letter D, the peak and the titer levels are needed for antibiotic therapy. And the only correct answer for number 12 is no other than letter B. The antibiotic is most effective in preventing infection if it is given 30 to 60 minutes before the operative incision is made. Guys, bakit ka kaya nagbibigay ng antibiotics before surgery? Because you know, when you are under surgery, you're opening the body. Klaro? You're cutting off the skin. Guys, pag nag-open ka ng skin, pag nag-make ka ng incision, that one will increase the risk of the bacteria crawling inside the incision. Can increase the risk of infection. So, as a prophylaxis to the infection, you give it precisely 30 to 60 minutes before the first surgical cut is made. Klaro ba yun? Yes. Guys, hindi yan about legality. May ratio yan, medically speaking, pharmacologically speaking. We do that because there's a reason behind. May rationale behind. Not just about legality. We operate scientifically based. Pero ba yun? Yes. Guys, you give it 30 to 60 minutes before kasi para ma-decrease mo ang risk niya of infection. Guys, hindi kailangan ang post-op doses. Hindi yan walang kinalaman ng post-op doses of antibiotics dito ha. Kasi mag-order din naman ng doktor kung anong gusto niyang frequency or intervals ng gamot. Kaya ba yun? That's not the purpose of the cefazolin prescribed before the surgery. And it's not about the peak and the titer of the medication, but rather to try and reduce the intraoperative risk and the post-operative risk of infection. Klaro ba? By pre-medicating antibiotics before the first incision is made. Klaro? Yes. Number 13. A preoperative lab result shows that Mona has a serum potassium level of 5.8 mg per liter. What should the nurse do first? Letter A, call the surgeon. Letter B, send the client to surgery. Letter C, make a note on the front of the chart. Letter D, notify the anesthesiologist. Guys, a top-notcher in this question would answer no other than Delta. Notify the anesthesiologist. Ma'am, bakit hindi ang surgeon kung 5.8 ang kanyang potassium? Guys, anong normal potassium natin? 3.5 to 5.5 mx per liter. So, ibig sabihin, 5.8, sobrang taas ba niyan? Hyperkalemia ba yan? Yes. Why do you notify the anest first before the surgeon? Because there are anesthesias that can increase potassium in the body, can cause hyperkalemia. And pag hyperkalemic ng pasyente mo, the anesthesiologist needs to know so that the anest knows to adjust or to change the kind of anesthetic agents used. Guys, anong klaseng anesthesia ang mag-i-increase ng potassium or can cause hyperkalemia? Guys, your succinyl, choline, that anesthesia can increase your potassium. That one can cause hyperkalemia. That's why the anesthesiologist needs to know. Kasi yung drugs ng anest mo ang pwedeng mag-induce or pwedeng mag-cause ng hyperkalemia as well. So, dapat alam niya. There's no need to put it in front of the chart because every time the doctor will check the chart, makikita din naman yun doon. Or you can also inform the surgeon. But, guys, the first thing you do is yung may relate sa pagtaas ng potassium ng pasyente mo. And that's the anest assigned to the patient's case so that the anest may adjust or change the anesthesia used. Klaro ba yun? Yes. But do you need to call the surgeon? Yes. But after only you have informed the anest, yung may direct link sa potassium ng pasyente mo. Klaro ba? Yes. Next, number 14. On the day of surgery, Thoma, a diabetic client, has been ordered nothing by mouth and to hold all medications. His 6 a.m. glucose is 300 milligrams per deciliter. What should the nurse do? Letter A, withhold all medications as ordered. Letter B, administer the insulin dose dictated by the sliding scale. Letter C, call the physician for specific orders based on the glucose level. Letter D, notify the surgery department. And the only correct answer, guys, for number 14 is no other than letter C. Call the physician for specific orders based on the glucose level of the pasyente. Guys, tell me, 300 mg per DL, is that too high of a sugar? Yes. Hindi na yan kasama sa sliding scale ng insulin mo. Guys, if it's well within the sliding scale of the insulin dose of the patient, you can give the insulin dose. But, specifically indicated, no, kahit anong klaseng sliding scale pa yan ng insulin ng hospital nyo or ng hospital policy nyo or ng order ng doktor. Guys, ang hindi mawawala dyan at ang laging nakalagay dyan, no, guys, in the orders of the doctor, even in practice, ang nakalagay, if the sugar is equal to or more than 300 milligrams per deciliter, report or refer to the doctor. Okay? You cannot give insulin if it's 300 or more kasi kailangan may changes na yan on the insulin dose or baka may additional orders pa ang doctor. But if it's well within the sliding scale of the insulin, you can give the indicated dose of insulin. So, what do we mean by a sliding scale of an insulin, guys? So, most of the time, doctors will order a sliding dose or a sliding scale of insulin based on the sugar levels na nakalagay doon, indicated na siya. So, it's like a table you follow or a management of the insulin dose you follow na on your own, independently as a nurse kasi ordered naman siya sa chart ng pasyente. So, Charlie is the only correct answer. Next, number 15. Before surgery, Noelle says she is afraid because her cousin died during tonsillectomy. What is the nurse's best response? Letter A, reassure the client that technology has changed over the last 10 years. Letter B, encourage the client to further express her concerns. Letter C, explain to the client that it is normal to be afraid. Letter D, ask the client if anyone else in her family has had trouble when they had surgery. And the only correct answer for number 15 is no other than Delta. Ask the client if anyone else in her family has had trouble when they had surgery. Why? Guys, the concept in this item is about malignant hyperthermia. It's about malignant hyperthermia. And guys, no, malignant hyperthermia, this is a genetic disease of a patient or a person that predisposes them to malignant hyperthermia, the one that can happen during surgery. It's a reaction to the anesthesia genetically, okay? Kaya ang dapat na tanong mo kapag sinabi niya, hala nurse, yung cousin ko ba, namatay siya, nag-tonsillectomy, pero namatay siya. Guys, tonsillectomy is not a major surgery, okay? Hindi yan ganun ka-major, pero namatay daw ang cousin niya. Ang next question mo, to assess for the risk na baka malignant hyperthermia to, a reaction or a severe reaction to the anesthesia, you ask the patient, ma'am, may mga family members ka din ba na nag-surgery na at nangyari din yan? Okay? Kasi guys, it runs in the family. First, second degree family members kapag may untoward events sa kanila, like namatay talaga sila sa surgery. That's a reaction to the anesthesia. One of the considerations is your malignant hyperthermia. From the word itself, malignant. Hindi natin alam ang cause, but most of the time, a genetic predisposition is what allows it to happen. So, pag may mga first or second degree relatives na namatay because of a surgery, you try and assess. Baka malignant hyperthermia yan. Klaro ba yun? Yes. So again, what's the best response? Tanungin mo kung meron bang part din sa family niya nagkaroon ng same effect in a surgical operation. Kung may namatay din sa kanila. Klaro ba yun? Or may nagkaroon din ng complication. Klaro ba? Yes, delta is the only correct answer. Alpha is non-therapeutic kasi hindi mo na-respond yung question ng pasyente mo. That one is an important differential for malignant hyperthermia. Do not miss the key point of malignant hyperthermia here kasi sinabi niya, namatay ang cousin niya sa tonsillectomy. Klaro ba? Yes. In Bravo, to allow for further verbalization is therapeutic, but that one will not address the physiologic problem of the patient. So guys, remember the hierarchy in nursing ha, when you're addressing problems. Guys, una muna physiologic bago ang psychologic. So, pag nagsabi siya ng ganyan, you know it's a risk for malignant hyperthermia, check mo muna ang iba pang pwede mong i-assess before mo siya ipa-verbalize ng feelings. Kasi physiologic muna before psychologic. Okay? Guys, explain that it's normal to be afraid. Correct. Pero physiologic muna before psychologic. Assessment muna. Delta is the best answer. Next, number 16. Which client is at high risk for latex allergies? Letter A, Shanha, admitted for her 7th surgery. Al-Hidam, who works as sales clerk. Letter C, Tignari, who has well-controlled type 2 DM. Letter D, Feruzan, who is having laser surgery. Guys, remember this. Latex allergies happens most often sa mga taong laging nakakontakt sa latex. Okay? Lalo na yung mga client na may multiple histories of surgery na. Kasi pag may multiple surgery history ka na, are you always exposed to latex ba? Yes. Most of the equipment in the hospital is latex. So number 1, mga taong may marami ng surgical experiences like Shanha, 7th surgery niya na. Sino pa guys? Number 2, yung mga taong hospital workers, mga healthcare workers, yan din sila ang exposed to latex almost all the time they are on duty. That's why they are also higher risk for what? Latex allergy, like nurses, doctors, and other healthcare professionals. Number 3, mga pasyenteng may spina bifida, okay? Kasi sila exposed din sila sa surgery at a young age, okay? So, ayun guys. So, they are also at high risk for latex allergy. So, that's it for number 16. Number 17. While assessing Scaramouche before surgery, the nurse notices he cannot tilt his head back. What is the primary concern related to this finding? Letter A, the client has limited movement of his neck. Letter B, the client is at risk for post-operative neck pain. Letter C, the client is at risk for difficult intubation. Letter D, the ability to assess the client's pupil is limited. Guys, the only correct answer is no other than letter C. Difficult intubation yan if they cannot tilt their head back. Kasi anong ginagawa natin when we intubate the patient? Do we hyperextend the neck to align the airway? Yes, for better intubation? Yes, precisely. And tell me, intubation, is that an airway concern? Yes. If you cannot intubate the patient during surgery, that's a big airway problem. What's the priority in nursing? Airway, breathing, circulation. So the best answer falls on Charlie. Guys, limited movement on the neck, that's the fact. Kasi sabi niya nga, cannot tilt the neck. But again, it does not respond ABC prioritization. Klaro ba yon? Yes. So, Charlie pa rin ang best answer. At risk for post-operative neck pain kasi hindi niya nagagalaw? Yes. But that does not give priority to letter C, which is an airway concern. Same lang din, the ability to assess the client's pupil does not supersede the ABC prioritization or your airway management. Klaro ba? Yes. Number 18, metoclopramide or Reglan is ordered as a pre-medication for official before gastroduodenoscopy. What is its primary therapeutic effect? Letter A, increase gastric pH. Letter B, increase gastric emptying. Letter C, reduce anxiety. Letter D, inhibited respiratory secretions. Guys, remember, the best answer for this question is no other than letter B, to increase gastric emptying. What's metoclopramide? That one is a dopamine receptor antagonist. Guys, if it's a dopamine receptor antagonist, tell me, dopamine along with your epi, di ba? Norepi, and your dopa, are they all catecholamines responsible for your SNS, sympathetic nervous system, responsible for your fight or flight? Claro? Yes. So exactly, if you're giving metoclopramide, it's a receptor antagonist for dopamine. So are you blocking the effect of dopamine? Yes. Are you therefore blocking the effect of sympathetic nervous system? Yes. Therefore blocking fight or flight? Yes, precisely. Exactly. So, anong ginagawa mo guys? Binababa mo ang SNS. Anong pwedeng tumaas? Pwede bang tumaas ang PNS para sympathetic nervous system? Yes. Pwede bang tumaas ang rest and digest? Yes. That's why it can increase gastric emptying. Bibilis ang rest and digest ability ng katawan mo. Klaro ba? Yes. In a dopamine receptor antagonist like your metoclopramide. Klaro? Yes. Inhibited respiratory secretions. Anong drug yung pinag-usapan natin kanina, guys? That's your anticholinergic. For example, atropine sulfate. For example, scopolamine. For example, glycopyrrolate. Klaro yung question kanina. Okay? Guys, reduce anxiety, edi you give your anti-anxiety medications. Okay? Guys, increase gastric pH, walang kinalaman. Okay? You want to increase the gastric pH, you make the pH more alka. Okay? You can give sodium bicarb. Oh, hindi yan si metoclopramide. Sodium bicarb yan. Klaro? Yes. Next, number 19. Ayun. Atropine sulfate is contraindicated in all but one. Lahat contraindicated si atropine maliban sa isa. Okay? Ibig sabihin, pwede mo siyang ibigay dito. Guys, tell me, is it Amber na may diabetes? Is it Zhongli na may glaucoma? Is it Goro na may urine retention? Or is it Baiju na may bowel obstruction? Isip-isip. The only correct answer is no other than top notcher. Pag sinagot, Amber with diabetes. Klaro ba? Yes, that's the only correct answer. Ibig sabihin, bawal sa may glaucoma, bawal sa may urinary retention, and bawal sa may bowel obstruction. Guys, sabi mo sa akin ba, atropine sulfate, sabi natin kanina, is that an anticholinergic? Yes. Anticholinergic yan. Ibig sabihin, anti-choline. Sino yung choline na ina-antagonize niya? Is that your acetylcholine? Yes. When you say acetylcholine, is that the largest neurotransmitter that takes effect on the parasympathetic nervous system? Yes. Takes effect on the rest and digest? Yes. So, ibig sabihin, if you have an anticholinergic, it blocks acetylcholine. It blocks the PNS. It blocks the rest and digest. Therefore, it will allow for SNS. Klaro ba? Yes. So, guys, pag wala ng rest and digest, may urine retention ka pa ba? Correct. Kaya, bawal ba siyang ibigay sa pasyenteng may urine retention? Yes. Exactly. So, pag may bowel obstruction ng pasyente, can you give a medication that will prevent rest and digest? No, bawal. Kasi gusto mo, mas mag-rest and digest siya para maiwasan ng bowel obstruction. Para ba yun? Yes. So, guys, tell me, in glaucoma, pwede ba bang ibigay ang atropine sulfate? Knowing that it's an anticholinergic, Bawal. Kasi it can increase sympathetic nervous system. What did we say in your sympathetic nervous system? Is it your fight or flight? Yes, precisely. So tell me, when you fight or you flight, when you fight or you run away, in your pupils, do they need to dilate so that you can better run and you can better fight? Yes. So there's pupil dilation. Pwede ba ang pupil dilation sa patient na may glaucoma? Cannot. Lalo na kapag yan is a close angle glaucoma. In a close angle glaucoma, pupils are already very dilated. Kaya mataas ang intraocular pressure kasi hindi niya madrain ang fluid sa eyes kasi dilated ang pupils. Klaro? Yes. So do not give atropine sulfate which can promote sympathetic nervous system to promote pupil dilation or pupil mydriasis. Okay? To a patient with glaucoma, bawal din siya dyan. Kaya kanino lang pwede ang yung atropine sulfate? Pasyenteng may diabetes, walang problem. Klaro ba? Yes. Number 20. Who daw is scheduled for open cholecystectomy has a 20-pack year of smoking history. For which post-op complication is she most at risk? Letter A, deep vein thrombosis. Letter B, atelectasis and pneumonia. Letter C, delayed wound healing. Letter D, prolonged immobility. Guys, the only correct answer is no other than may relate sa lungs ang pasyente mo. 20 years, 20-pack year history of smoking. Eddie, the best answer is what? Bravo. Atelectasis and pneumonia. Klaro ba yun? Yes. Kasi guys, sira na ba ang lung tissues niya because of the 20-pack years of smoking? Exactly. Now, in the post-surgery, lalo na pag open cholecystectomy yan, guys, cholecystectomy is that the removal of the gallbladder. Yes. When you remove the gallbladder, part of the GI ba yan? In the abdomen. Yes, specifically in the right upper quadrant yan, guys, located. Right upper quadrant, very close to what? The diaphragm. Guys, itong tatandaan mo, mga surgery na ginawa sa chest, pati mga surgery na ginagawa sa abdomen, that one can cause difficulty of deep breathing and coughing kasi masakit. Kasi ang muscles responsible for breathing and coughing, the chest and the abdominal muscles. So kung nandyan ang incision, kasi nandyan ang surgery, mahihirapan siya mag-deep breathe and mag-cough. Kaya they are at risk for atelectasis and pneumonia, respiratory problem, lalo na pag may history of smoking. Klaro ba yun? Yes. Guys, pwede bang mag-deep vein thrombosis kasi lagi siya nagsusmoke can make the patient's blood coagulable or sticky because of the tar content of smoke? Yes. Pero again, anong priority sa nursing? Airway, breathing, circulation. Atelectasis, pneumonia, both are airway problems. Kaya ang sinagot natin, bravo. As opposed to alpha. Delayed wound healing, guys. Pwede bang dahil sa smoking, pangit na ang circulation ng katawan niya? Yes, pwede. But again, it will not be the priority over an airway problem like Bravo, and the same with prolonged immobility din. Bravo pa rin ang priority natin. Airway pa rin ang priority. That's why B is the best answer. Next, number 21. Which pediatric client should not be given balloon to play with after surgery? Letter A, Klee, who is having her 15th laser surgery for hemangioma. Or letter B, Sayu, who is having tonsillectomy. Letter C, Diona, who is having an inguinal hernia repair. Or letter D, Kiki, who is having orchiopexy. And the only correct answer is no other than, guys, the question is asking you about latex allergy. Nakatago lang sa pagsabi na hindi pwedeng bigyan ng balloon because balloon, the rubber in balloon is latex. Klaro ba yun? Yes, and the only correct answer is alpha. Si Klee, pang ilang surgery niya na, guys? 15th laser surgery for hemangioma. Klaro ba yun? Yes. Guys, sabi natin, recurrent or repeated surgeries will predispose the patient at a higher risk for latex allergy because of their exposure to latex products in surgical procedures. Tama? Yes, as well as mga healthcare professionals like nurses and doctors, high risk din for a latex allergy. So, bawal bigyan ng balloon ang batang marami ng surgery dahil may high risk of a latex allergy. Yung iba, guys, mga one at a time lang na surgery, walang problem yan. That one that will not increase the risk of a latex allergy. Klaro ba yun? Yes. 22. 30 minutes after gastrectomy, Shinqui's temperature rises from 36.7 to 38.9 degrees Celsius. Besides notifying the physician, what should the nurse do immediately? Letter A, administer dantrolene. Letter B, elevate the head of the bed 30 degrees. Or letter C, administer a bolus of IV fluids. Or letter D, insert an indwelling urinary catheter. Guys, tell me, pag may sudden increase of temperature from 36.7 to 38.9, are we considering a type of complication na na-mention natin kanina? Your malignant hyperthermia. Guys, is that genetics? Yes. Reaction to the anesthesia? Yes, precisely. Can run in the family. First degree, second degree. Pwede? Yes. Pwedeng ikamatay niya sa surgery? Yes. Guys, the only correct answer pag you suspect malignant hyperthermia, lalo na kapag naging hyperthermic ang pasyente mo for no reason, especially immediate, 30 minutes after surgery lang, immediate post-op period, guys. Guys, the only correct answer is letter A, administer dantrolene. Dantrolene is a muscle relaxant. And guys, the thing about malignant hyperthermia is that it can cause severe muscle rigidity. Okay? Muscle stiffness and muscle rigidity plus a high fever. So, kailangan mong bigyan ng muscle relaxant. Klaro? Ito, muscle relaxant. Like your dantrolene. Klaro ba yun? Yes. You don't need to elevate the head 30 degrees kasi it's a malignant hyperthermia. It's not an airway problem. And guys, you don't need to administer a bolus of IV fluids unless otherwise ordered by the doctor. And you don't need to insert an indwelling urinary catheter because the problem is in the muscles and in the temperature regulation of the patient. The best answer is that you anticipate to do the administration of dantrolene. Claro? Or else, guys, that one can kill the patient. That one can cause the death of the patient immediately post-op. Claro ba yun? Yes. Okay? So the best answer is letter A. Number 23, the nurse checks vital signs of Eula, who is receiving epidural anesthesia. Which assessment should the nurse perform next? Letter A, bladder distension. Letter B, headache. Letter C, post-operative pain. Letter D, ability to move legs. The only correct answer for number 23 is no other than letter A. That one is specific to an epidural anesthesia, guys. Why? Remember this, ha? In epidural anesthesia, I know some of you may answer headache. Guys, in epidural anesthesia, that kind of anesthesia, guys, your spinal anesthesia, ang pinaka-last to regain control is no other than your bladder. So, after you check the vital signs, i-check mo ang bladder ng pasyente mo. Palpate mo kung distended. Kasi yan ang last area to regain consciousness or to regain control again. Klaro ba? After the epidural anesthesia. So, it's important to check for bladder distension or else, guys, yung bladder ng pasyente mo punong-puno na. Pwede yan mag-akyat pabalik sa kidney at pwedeng mag-cause ng hydronephrosis. That's why it's important to check for the bladder distension. Guys, tell me, can we also check for a headache? Yes. Can we also check for post-operative pain? Yes. Can we also check the ability to move legs? Yes. But all of that can come after checking the bladder distension. Again, proper urinary output will tell us if there's good circulation in the patient. If the bladder is distended, we cannot assess for correct urinary output. Klaro ba yun? Yes. And that one is also the one that is last to regain control after your epidural anesthesia. Correct ba? Yes. So you assess that after you have assessed the vital signs. Klaro ba yun? Yes. Next, number 24. When assessing Chong Yun after spinal anesthesia, what finding should the nurse expect? The client feels pain before moving the legs. B, the blood pressure is significantly increased. Letter C, sensations return to the toes first, then progress to the perineal area. Or letter D, the client complains of a headache while in the lying position. Tulad ng sinabi natin kanina, guys, the only correct answer is no other than letter C. Mauunang babalik sa may paa, sa toes, to the feet, to the legs, and then to the perineal area, especially the bladder and the bowel control. Last na yun dun. Unang darating muna ang sensation to the legs. Klaro ba? Yes, so that's what you will expect after a spinal anesthesia. Guys, the client complains of a headache while in a lying position is wrong. Kailan sumasakit? Kailan nagkakaroon ng spinal headache ang pasyente mo? Kapag nag-upright position siya. And the spinal headache after a spinal anesthesia, like your epidural, that's because of fluid imbalance in the body. Claro? Yes. So the fluid imbalance, because of that, the circulation in the brain is affected. Kapag nag-upright position ka, guys, you can experience headache. But if in your a flat or lying position, there's no spinal headache. Claro ba yon? Yes. Guys, the client feels pain? No, wala yan. Kasi naka-anesthesia siya before. Klaro ba yon? Yes. So, can move the legs first? Correct. But cannot feel pain. Mali yung pain dito. Klaro ba yon? Yes. The blood pressure is significantly increased? Is wrong. Guys, the blood pressure of the patient is actually low. Because of the effect of the anesthesia, the blood pressure is low rather than high. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Next, number 25. Which system is not blocked by the spinal anesthesia? Letter A, sympathetic nervous system. Letter B, sensory system. Letter C, parasympathetic nervous system. Or letter D, the motor system. And the only correct answer for number 25 is no other than Charlie. It will not block the PNS, but will it block the SNS? Yes. Will it block the sensory part? Yes. And will it block also the motor system? Yes. Walang vasoconstriction, walang pupil dilation, walang bronchodilation. Kasi mag-PPNS ka dyan, magre-relax ang buong katawan mo kapag nag-anesthetize sa'yo. Guys, ano pa? Yung sensory system and motor system mo, guys, below the level of your spinal anesthesia, madalas lumbar 2 mo yan binibigay. Klaro ba? Guys, lumbar 2 below, wala kang mafe-feel na sensation, hindi mo rin magagalaw. So, will it block the sensory and motor system? Yes, precisely. Kaya correct ang A, B, and D. It will block them all except the PNS. The PNS will not be blocked. Klaro ba? Yes. Next, number 26. 8 hours after surgery, Yan Fei has a distended bladder and is unable to void. Which intervention is contraindicated? Bawal. Put a big X. Letter A, facilitate voiding by normal position. Letter B, pouring running water over perineum. Letter C, insert an indwelling urinary catheter. Or letter D, insert a straight catheter every 4 hours. And the only correct answer is no other than Charlie, inserting an indwelling urinary catheter. Guys, 8 hours after surgery, wala pa ring control ang bladder ni Yan Fei. Kaya distended ang bladder niya. Can it be because of the anesthesia effect? Yes, correct. Guys, hindi ka dapat maglagay ng indwelling urinary catheter. That one will increase the risk of UTI of the patient. But that one will not help a distended bladder without control of the patient to have control. Okay? Kaya kailangan ang pwede mo lang gawin is a straight catheterization every 4 hours hanggang sa kaya niya na mag-void on their own. Okay? Hanggang sa ma-regain na ni Yan Fei ang control ng bladder niya. But putting an indwelling catheter will not allow for Yan Fei to practice bladder control. Klaro ba yun? Yes, kasi ang gusto mo guys in the long term, okay? After ng surgery ni Yan Fei, maka-regain siya ng control ng bladder niya. Temporary lang ba yan? Yes. So, temporary solution lang din ang ibibigay mo hanggang sa kaya niya nang mag-regain ng control sa bladder niya eventually. Do not put a retained indwelling catheter. Kasi pag indwelling catheter, iiwan mo yan dyan. Increased risk for UTI. Another problem for you. Klaro ba? Yes. But can you do straight catheterization every 4 hours to facilitate emptying of the bladder? Yes. Can you facilitate voiding in normal position? Open mo siya sa bedpan para ma-stimulate ang urination. Pwede. Pwede kang mag-run ng water sa perineum niya or mag-open ng faucet to facilitate the urge to void. Pwede. Okay? So, Charlie lang ang wrong dyan. Yan lang ang contraindicated. Number 27. While the nurse is removing Raiden Shogun's staples from an abdominal incision, she sneezes and the incision splits open, exposing the intestines. What should the nurse do next? Guys, letter A, press the emergency alarm to call the resuscitation team. Letter B, cover the abdominal organs with sterile dressing moistened with sterile normal saline. Letter C, have all visitors and family leave the room. Or letter D, call the surgeon to come to the client's room immediately. Guys, when the incision splits open without the exit of the internal organs or the abdominal organs, you call that your Dehiscence. D for the detachment of the suture lines. Klaro ba? Of the suture, of the incision, nag-split open, pero na-expose ang intestines, hindi naman na lumabas. Klaro ba? Na-expose lang. Nakita mo lang. So, anong pinakauna mong gagawin pag nagkaroon ng dehiscence? The best answer is letter B. You cover the abdominal organs with sterile dressing, moistened with sterile normal saline. Kasi number 1, you want to maintain the moisture of these organs being exposed in the environment. And number 2, you want to prevent infection. Kasi na-open ang suture lines ulit. Dapat close ang suture lines. Kasi pag close ang suture lines, the skin is closed. The skin is there to protect the entry of any bacteria or pathogen inside the incision. Klaro ba? Yes, pero pag nag-open ang skin, nag-open ang suture line, wala ka ng protection for the moisture or the infection of the organs. Klaro ba yun? Yes, that's why the best answer is letter B. You don't need to press the emergency alarm para sa resuscitation team kasi this is not a code blue. Klaro ba yun? Yes, this is a dehiscence problem. Have all visitors and family leave the room? Guys, no need. Actually, they can help you call the physician because you need to stay with the patient. Do not leave your patient. Have someone else call help in the nurse's station or to call the doctor. Klaro ba? Yes. And then you call the surgeon to come to the client's room immediately. Pwede. Kasi kailangan niyan ipasok ulit sa OR. Klaro ba yon? Yes. And for number 28, guys, which intervention should the nurse implement for pulmonary embolism prophylaxis after surgery for venti? Letter A, have the client perform leg exercises every hour while awake. Letter B, encourage the client to cough and deep breathe. Or letter C, massage the calves of the patient's legs. Or letter D, have the client wear anti-embolism stockings when out of bed. And the only correct answer is no other than, if you want to prevent pulmonary embolism, letter A is the best and only correct answer for these choices. Guys, pulmonary embolism is that a clot in the pulmonary circulation. Yes, the clot most often comes from the lower extremities, especially if you are after surgery, post-surgery. Kasi tandaan mo, ang pasyente, post-surgery, guys, naka-bed-bound ba yan? Ibig sabihin, naka-bed rest lang sila. Yes, kaya guys, no, one of the things that we do to avoid the formation of clot is to make sure that the circulation in the lower extremities are good to prevent blood stasis. So guys, tingnan mo, in alpha, if you have the client perform leg exercises, especially what we call your leg pumps or your calf pumps, guys. Ayan. Ibig sabihin, you try and pump the calves of the patient to promote proper circulation. That one will increase circulation in the extremities, especially in the legs, and that one will prevent blood stasis. Kasi what do you know about blood stasis? Will that cause the clumping of the blood and then can form a clot? Yes, that clot will run in the pulmonary circulation, will cause pulmonary embolism. So letter A, you have the patient perform leg exercises. Talaga ma'am, every hour while the patient is awake? Yes, that's the instruction to the patient. Letter B, encourage the client to cough and deep breathe. That one naman is for lung expansion and to prevent pneumonia, di ba? To prevent atelectasis and pneumonia for lung expansion, yan. And to expectorate pulmonary secretions. You don't massage, guys. Never, ever, ever. Contraindicated yan, mag-massage ng calves. Bakit? That one can dislodge the clot. Pag na-dislodge ang clot, all the more, magkakaroon ka ng pulmonary embolism. Kaya, bawal yan. Bawal mag-massage. Anong gagawin natin? Activity lang on the legs. Do leg exercises. Klaro ba? Yes. Guys, tama na sana ang wear anti-embolism stockings pero mali ang when out of bed. When do you wear the anti-embolism stockings? You wear it while the patient is still on the bed. Okay? So, while the patient is still on the bed with the legs flat, okay, before you dangle the legs of the patient, have the patient wear the anti-embolism stockings. Okay? That one will press or apply pressure on the vessels of the legs so that walang blood stasis na mangyayari sa legs mo. Walang blood clots or blood stasis that will promote blood clot. Klaro ba? Yes. So what makes it wrong is the statement, out of bed mo pa ipapa-wear sa kanya ang anti-embolism stocking. Dapat while still on bed, before rising or before waking up, before walking out of bed, before standing, suotin niya ng anti-embolism stocking while the legs are still flat in bed. Klaro ba? Yes. Okay? That's why delta is wrong. Alpha is the best answer. Next, number 29. On the first day after surgical repair of a ruptured diverticulum, Lisa asked about the purpose of her Jackson-Pratt drain. What is the best response? Letter A, the drainage tube is used to prevent infection in the peritoneal cavity. Letter B, the drainage tube is used to prevent bleeding into the peritoneal cavity. Letter C, the drainage tube is used to prevent pressure on the bladder. Or letter D, the drainage tube is used to prevent pressure on the gallbladder. The only correct answer is no other than, guys, it's letter B. It's used to prevent bleeding into the peritoneal cavity. Kaya ka may Jackson-Pratt drain na nilagay. Guys, remember, ruptured diverticulum. Diverticula. Guys, that's the outpouching of the colon. Guys, di ba, colon mo to, large intestine mo. Outpouching ng colon, that's a diverticula. Okay? Guys, diverticula mo yan. Para siyang aneurysm ng colon mo. Di ba? The outpouching of a blood vessel, aneurysm ang tawag. Outpouching of the colon or your large intestine ang tawag diverticula. Klaro ba? Yes. Ang diverticula mo, kapag nalagyan yan ng content, like tae, like mga seeds, pwedeng mag-inflame, can turn into diverticulitis. Now, when it's already inflamed, kasi diverticulitis na siya, that one can rupture. Kaya meron kang ruptured diverticulum. Pag nag-rupture yan, diretso sa peritoneal cavity. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Kaya pwede siyang mag-cause ng peritonitis. Now, the question is, nag-surgically repair ka na ng ruptured diverticulum. Tinahi mo na to, guys. Nilagyan mo ngayon ng Jackson-Pratt drain. The drain of the Jackson-Pratt drain, diretso yan palabas sa katawan. Okay? Guys, in the Jackson-Pratt drain, there is a suction or a vacuum exerted by the drain. Kasi kinocompress mo yan before mo yan isaksak para may suction sa loob. Okay? Manual suction from the compression of the Jackson-Pratt drain. That one can prevent the bleeding into the peritoneal cavity. Kasi may incision ka ba? Yes. Yung incision, pwede bang mag-bleed? Yes. Pag nag-bleed, diretso saan? Sa peritoneal cavity ba? Yes. Ano yung sinasuction ng Jackson-Pratt drain mo? Yung bleeding, klaro? Yes. The Jackson-Pratt drain or the drainage tube will not prevent infection. To prevent infection, nagbibigay tayo ng mga antibiotics post-operative sa pasyente natin. Klaro ba? Yes. Guys, the drainage tube will not prevent the pressure on the bladder. Okay? To prevent pressure on the bladder, intermittent catheterization to the patient until the patient regains bladder control. Prevent bladder distension. Yung urinary catheterization natin, straight catheterization every 4 hours ang gagawin mo. Guys, the drainage tube is used to prevent pressure on the gallbladder. Walang kinalaman because a diverticula is in the large intestine. Your bladder is in the first segment of the small intestine. Magkalayong lugar sila, guys. LDR sila, guys. Malayo sila sa isa't isa. So, wrong pa rin. The only correct answer is bravo. Klaro ba yun? Yes. And the last item. Number 30. How often should Kokomi's temperature be assessed? During the first 24 hours after surgery. Letter A, every 2 hours. Letter B, every 4 hours. Letter C, every 6 hours. Or letter D, every 8 hours. And the only correct answer to this objective question is no other than every 4 hours. That's the standard. Guys, remember, in nursing, the standard checking of the vital signs or temperature, part of the vital signs yan, is every 4 hours. Standard, no problem, general. Okay? Again, look at the question. Is it a general assessment question? Walang ibang special considerations. Yes, it's a general question demanding general answer. The best answer is every 4 hours. You will only monitor the temperature every 2 hours if there's problems. For example, sinabi dyan, si Kokomi merong febrile episodes. How often do you check for the temperature? Guys, pwedeng every 2 hours, pwedeng every 1 hour in the first 24 hours after surgery. But if the question is general, in the first 24 hours of surgery, every 4 hours is enough. That's the general standard rule for general vital signs taking or general temperature monitoring. Para ba? Yes. Every 6 hours, masyado nang matagal. Every 8 hours, edi per shift na yan ng nurse, guys. Masyado na yung matagal. Hindi na yan monitoring. Okay, klaro ba? Yes, the only correct answer is bravo. That's all. Hope you learned. Bye!